Mine, All Mine by Claire Hawcock and Chiara Pasqualotto. One cold winter's morning, a huge glistening snowflake landed on Little Squirrel's nose.
How wonderful,
he said. Little Squirrel's brother and sister gathered round. Let's throw it into the sky and see how far it floats, said Big Squirrel, flicking it gently with his tail.
but that's my snowflake.
Whispered Little Squirrel. Let's hang it up and watch it sparkle, suggested Bigger Squirrel, attaching the snowflake to a branch.
But it's my snowflake,
replied Little Squirrel, a little louder this time. Let's bury it, said the biggest squirrel, and see who finds it.
But it's mine,
shouted Little Squirrel. Little Squirrel's family quickly disappeared. Later, Little Squirrel had an idea. He collected all the twigs he could find and with the huge glistening snowflake scampered up a tree. All day long he worked, piling up the twigs, one on top of the other, until he'd made a nest. That night, Little Squirrel sat alone in the nest with his snowflake.
Mine, all mine,
he said, and he went to sleep happily. The next day, when he woke up, Little Squirrel thought he could hear birds singing her song. He put his ear to the twig wall and tried to listen, but the wall was too thick and the sound was muffled, so he sat back down and stared at the snowflake instead.
Mine, all mine,
he said to himself. In the afternoon, Little Squirrel noticed a crack in the twig wall. If he looked carefully, he could see just the others slipping and sliding in the snow. He wanted to join in, but sat back down and looked at the snowflake instead.
Mine, all mine.
Little Squirrel sighed, feeling just a tiny bit sad. He missed his family. Later on, Little Squirrel was hungry. He was sure everyone would be enjoying a feast, sharing all the food they had gathered throughout the day. Little Squirrel called out to them, but no one answered. Perhaps they had forgotten all about me and my snowflake, he thought. Little Squirrel looked around his nest, and then with 1, 2, 3, he gave the twigs a mighty push. As the nest broke open, the snowflake floated down. Landing on the snowy forest floor, the snowflake started to roll, getting bigger and bigger and faster as it rolled towards his family at the bottom of the hill.
Watch out!
And then,
I'm sorry.
Ours, all ours? Asked Bigger and Biggest Squirrel.
Ours, all ours,
agreed Little Squirrel, and he hopped down from the tree to join the fun.